I was today years old when I learned that 98% of insurance waste ends up in a landfill. But what if some of those family heirlooms could be saved from the trash? Sounds like a good idea to me. So Craig, I was surprised to learn that after a property claim, nearly everything ends up in a bin. But Cooperators is changing that. Tell me how.
Yeah, absolutely. There's technology today where we can clean the things that are affected by a claim, and we're able to bring them back to new state, almost as though they'd come off the shelf.
That's incredible. Why was it important to adopt this initiative?
Climate change, it's affecting all of us, and we need to make a significant impact on our environment. Reduce the impact on greenhouse gases and on landfill. It's actually cheaper to do it this way than it is to actually replace the item. We'll save some money, we'll reinvest that. Cooperators gives back substantial dollars to the community, and those investments in the community change people's lives. That's the kind of organization that we are.
You spoke about the impact on clients. It's got to be huge.
There's an emotional element to this when you think about it. Somebody has a fire in their house and there's smoke damage within the house. They've got that little bear that was really important to their son or daughter. All of those furnishings that really have emotional value to folks, we can clean those up, and that has a real impact on our clients.
Do you have any other stories that you can share?
One of the things that this process does is it actually reduces the time to be able to get back to where you were pre-loss. Because you don't want contractors in your house. And many of these technologies that we're putting in place shrink that period of time so that from the period where you have the loss to when everything is complete is much shorter as a result of this. Resiliency and sustainability, it's embedded in everything that we do, every part of our business.
Wow. I think it's time I get a peek at this process.
Let's go and have a look, Jess.
So this is where the magic happens.
This is one of the rooms where the magic happens.
This has got some water damage, some smell damage.
Maybe it has a little bit of smoke damage. This is an example of one of the tools that's utilized. This item, after we're finished here, we could end up moving it to an ozone room, which basically will suck the entire smell out and put it in a really good position to be able to see if the client's happy with it.
Craig, this has been a really interesting process, and this cushion reminds me of my couch at home with a massive nacho stain on it. May I possibly bring it in here?
Well, that's not exactly how an insurance claim works.
Fair,
but
fair.
We'll see what we can do for you.
That's what I like to hear. Yes!
Jess, thank you so much for helping us understand how Cooperators is leading the way when it comes to sustainability and insurance claims, and to never serve you nachos when you're sitting on my couch.
Fine, okay.
It's true. Well, speaking of sitting, we are actually sitting on furniture that's been restored by some of Cooperators' specialized cleaning partners. Amazing. And I gotta say, they look amazing, like brand new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Now, thankfully, I can say thankfully that I've never had anything lost due to a flood or a fire at home. But the story definitely got us thinking, you know, what are the things that we would like, the keepsakes or the pieces of furniture that we would want to save if that happened? And obviously, there's a very specific criteria for what can be clean and restored in an insurance claim. But Cynthia, if you could save anything, what would it be?
Okay, so the first thing I would say, I think, is like many people from the era of like photos that were put into albums and there's no digital copy, I would save childhood photos of myself. First of all, it's one of my prized possessions. But beyond that, I think in terms of furniture, there's a table, our dining room table. This was the very first piece of furniture that I ever purchased. It made me feel like a real adult. And since then, we've had so many birthday parties and celebrations and so many memories attached to that. We even have like some of Jaya's homework like etched in, you know how that's there?
That's so
if I ever lost that, I would be so devastated. So what about you, Jess?
My dining room table as well. It's not particularly valuable. It's old. It squeaks actually when people sit at it. But it's that idea of thinking about how many memories have been built around there, how sharing food with loved ones. And that is a really beautiful thing. And I was looking at the chairs as well. I think I'd save my chairs because they have a bit of history. They come from the Toronto Reference Library. So I think that would be a very beautiful thing.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Thanks.
I think on my side, listen, if you're a parent, if you're not saving teeth, then you may be saving, you know, there's a lot of stuff from their earliest years, their early sketches and their drawings. Marquez is very artistic, and she started drawing very young. She drew Marilyn Monroe when she was 3 and a half.
Oh my God, that's so good.
I mean, this stuff is invaluable. You cannot replace this stuff for sure. Obviously, paperwork like your passports and birth certificates, etc. But if it actually comes to a really prized possession, I would have to say my wedding dress. So my wedding dress, it was custom made by two sisters in Paris. And the funny thing is, I tucked it away, I think somewhere safe. But my daughter just recently started saying to me, "Mommy, I want your wedding dress."
Wow.
So now I gotta save it.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
What about you,
That's
Andrea?
awesome. All right. Well, I actually had to file an insurance claim once because of a pipe issue at my condo that caused my laundry room to flood every time someone else was doing their laundry. Oh. Yeah, it was a special time. It was amazing. Thankfully, I only had to deal with the damage to my floors, but if my art collection ever got damaged, I'd be desperate to try and save it. Like this hand-painted piece of pottery. It's a ginger jar and matching bowl from Turkey. I got it from my friend's family's home, and their family has been creating pottery for thousands of years. This is priceless. I carried it like 2 newborn babies on the flight home from Europe. Or these signed photographs of Tina Turner that were taken at her first concert in England.
Yeah.
Now listen, this was gifted to me by the photographer, who is a really famous paparazzi photographer. And his name is Michael Putland. I met him, and he gave them to me, and I cried. It was so special. And I also inherited my father's very special record collection, and he's got everything. Elton John live, every single Teddy Pendergrass.
Prince.
You can see Prince, Curtis Blow's first album, every Earth, Wind and Fire, Marvin Gaye live. So, you know, you can't replace that kind of stuff. So my dad took the time to build it, so it's got huge sentimental value for me.
That's
Absolutely
beautiful.
love that. I hope none of us ever have to deal with an insurance claim situation. But if we do, at least we know Cooperators is working to divert household items from landfill and back to the people that cherish them. So if you'd like to learn more about how sustainability is at the core of everything they do, head to cooperators.ca/claim changers. Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll be back right after.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.